All right, so just wanted to talk about. I told you the story about the friend of mine who his wife wanted me to to take him out back in like '94, I think it was '93, '94, somewhere around there. So that was the one story about that, but I have two other ones where people had come to me for something like that. And the other one happened in mm, it was in the 90s. No, it was 2001 because that's when I had started working for a company out in Ontario. But I had been working for this guy. It was a small business. It's a logistics company. He warehoused product for people, and he had a couple, like three trucks, and probably like six trailers. And we were like pretty much like an overstocked building. So we did stuff for like Bondi, which they made toys for Power Rangers, and Mattel toys, uh, just a bunch of companies. Um, that chocolate company that's in San Francisco, I can't remember the name of it. Starts with a G. We stored their chocolate, and then whenever they needed stuff, they would send us an order. We had people in the warehouse that pack that stuff, and we take it to their customers for them. So anyway, there was only like three drivers there. He had three trucks, three drivers. I was there. That was there the longest. I had been with him already a few years already, and he was a really good guy. Treated me real good. He told me he's telling me that I was a son that he always wanted. He already had a son, but you know him and his son really didn't have a good relationship. So, and me and him had a real good relationship. He took care of me, man. When I was working for him, I wasn't making a lot of money. I think at the time I was probably making maybe $14 an hour, $13 an hour as a truck driver. And there was times where that just wasn't enough. I had four kids, and I was in a relationship with my kid's mother, and we had a lot of bills, but living it wasn't even living check to check because there was some times where there was no money. Once I got the check, it was gone, nothing left. And so there was times where I would go to him and say, hey, bro, I'm not making enough. Can you do me a favor and how do you what would it be called? He would give me a couple $100, $300, $400. He would take it on my next check. But that would always leave me even worse off. But he would do it. He would do it. And so, anyways, was working for him. There was another guy that was there, a friend of mine that was working with us, but he got a job at a bigger company, making more money. And he was there for probably about 2 months or something. And he hits me up and says, hey, check it out, man. If you want to come over here with us at this company, man, you're going to make a lot more money. They're going to start you at like $16.50, but you're going to have great benefits, and there's a lot of hours, a lot of work. It's a big, nationwide company, and I think they were topping out at the time like at it was $18. So I was like, yeah, if you can get me in there, man, I would definitely go over there. So he did. He got me in there, and I told my boss. I said, hey, check it out, man. I got to go here to this other company because they're gonna pay me more money. I got nothing against you, but I gotta make more money. So he understood, and he apologized to me. He's like, I wish I could pay you more, but I just can't. So I said it's okay. So I went to this new company, started working there, and I had been there probably like about a year. By that time. Yeah, I was there about a year. So this had happened in 2002 when my buddy one day that got me the job there, that was working with me at the other company, see me in the yard. I was in the yard disconnecting my truck and trailer, and he comes up to me. He says, hey, check it out, man. I stopped by the office, the old office, to see so and so, see how he's doing, and he said that he's been trying to locate you, that he needs to talk to you. And so I just tell him, I said, what does he want? Did he tell you what he wanted? And he's like, he's kind of looking at me funny, like smiling, you know. And I'm like, well, what do you want? And he says, he wants you to take somebody out. And I'm like, but like it's like I don't. I think he's fucking around. I said, what are you talking about? You know, who? And he laughed. And I was like, who is it? What is he? You know, what's going on? And he says, it's his wife. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. Just think he's fucking around. You know, he used to fuck around a lot, so I think he's fucking around. He said, you gotta go see him, man. He wants to talk to you. But in my mind, I'm thinking, like, why would he tell him that? You know, why would he say that to him? He would, if anything, why would he just say, hey, when you see Mike, tell him to come see me. I want to talk to him, and that's it. So I didn't believe what he was saying, you know. So I think it might have been that same day after work. It was in the evening time. I said, well, you know, I'll drive by the office and see if he's still there. So that's what I did. And when I was driving by the office, I seen that his truck was parked out front. There was no other cars in the parking lot. So I knew he was there getting ready to go home and shutting everything down. So I parked and I knocked on the glass door, and he comes out of his office. I could see from the glass door, his office was right in front of me. And his door was open, the light was on. And I could kind of see his shoulder. He's sitting at his desk. So I knocked on the door. He comes over the door, and he's like all happy to see me, gives me a hug. He's like, come into the office, sit down. So we sit down, and he throws a pack of cigarettes on the counter. He grabs a cigarette, takes it down, throws it on the counter. At the time, he used to smoke cigarettes, so he throws it on the counter. He's like, here. So I you know, we lit up cigarettes, and we're sitting there, we're talking. And he's like, how's everything going over there? And how's your kids? How's your girl? And, you know, because he knew them. And you know, I was telling him everything's fine. You know, I'm doing pretty good. You know, by that time, once I got that new job, I was only there for like 2 weeks. I was started like at $16.50. But then the union was fucking with the company. They wanted the guys to go union, and so the company said, well, if you guys don't go union, we'll give you like $20 an hour. We'll start, well, everybody will make $20 an hour. So all the guys said, okay, fuck it, we don't want the union. So right away, 2 weeks later, 2 weeks after I got there, went from like 16 or $16.50 to $20 an hour, which is pretty decent money at the time. So I told him what had happened. He's like, well, that's good. I'm glad you went over there, you know, and I'm glad that things are working out for you. So I said, well, hey, you know, so-and-so told me that he talked to you, told me to come down here and see you, and that's why I'm here. You know, what's going on? And so he started writing things down to me. He's like, check it out. He's like, you know who my wife is. You know, you've seen her come through here a few times. And I was like, yeah. Yeah, what about her? And he says, well, you know, things ain't good between me and her. They ain't been good between her for a long time. And so, you know, she filed for divorce. And so I was like, okay, so, you know. He goes, but the thing is, when I met my wife, I already had my business. I already had everything. I already had my money. I already had my homes, everything. He goes, I've been with her for a long time, because they did have kids that were already over 18. You know, but he was like, I already had all this stuff. I already had my business, you know. She's the one who profited off of everything, you know. He goes, a couple years ago, I got her a van to do her own business, which was ultrasounds, where you can go to people's houses, and she could do it out of this big ass van. And so he's like, I got her started her business, and she lives the life that she lives because of what I've earned. She was always like a stay-at-home wife until we started her business. And now she wants to get a divorce. I moved into one of our other properties. She's in the big house because they had a really big, kind of like a mini mansion. So he said she's there. The kids are gone. They're out doing their own thing. So she's there at the house all by herself. You know, she has the house, and I'm staying in the condo. He goes, and so, but I don't think that she, she wants half of everything. She's trying to take half of everything. She wants half the business. She wants, when they're selling the houses and all that stuff like that, to get half of everything. She wants half. And he's like, fuck that. I don't want to give her half. She doesn't deserve that. And so I'm just like, okay, so what? And he says, I want to know if you'll handle that for me. If you'll take care of it for me. He says, I have the code to the house, the alarm code. She leaves in the morning doing her work to go to work. There's nobody in the house but her. There's housekeepers that come, but they only come once a week, so I know what days they are. He said, all you really got to do is, I give you the keys, I give you the code. Wait until she leaves to work, go in the house, and wait there until she comes home. And just make it look like, like a robbery gone wrong. Take care of it. And so I'm sitting there listening to him. I'm kind of shocked by it, but again, I was making decent money, but I think at the time my kid's mother was going to school and she wasn't working. So I'm the only one working. So, I'm doing decent money, but I'm still kind of living check to check. I don't have money in the bank. If I did, it'd be like a couple $100 every week, maybe. But so when you really got nothing, you ain't got nothing to lose. That's the way I always seen it. So then I said, okay. So he told me, he's like, I'll take care of you. I'll pay you. And I said, okay, so what are you gonna pay me? And he says, I'll pay you $250,000. I'll give you $250,000 cash if you take care of that. So in my mind, I'm like, it's already set in my mind, like, fuck it. It's easy. It's gonna be in the evening time. Nobody's there but her. I mean, yeah, it's not. I could do it. It's just not a problem. So I said, okay. Are you sure that's what you want to do? And he's like, yeah. He goes, I trust in you, and I know you. I know how you are. And that's why I'm asking you. That's why I asked you. I know what you're about. You know what I mean? So I said, okay. I want half the money down, half the money up front, and then when that shit's all done, then you give me the other half. So he said, no problem, no problem. Just give me a few days. Let me get everything situated with that money and shit. We'll figure everything out. Just give me a few days so we can get this whole thing set up. What day to go down there and all that. I said, okay, no problem. So that was it. I left. I want to say maybe it's like 3 days, 4 days later. I was at work. It's the end of my shift. I'm turning on my paperwork at the window, and I go into the office where all the girls are at. There's like 6 cubicles in there with women that work in there, and there was one woman that worked in there, black lady. She's an older lady, heavy set, but she was really nice, really cool, and I used to always talk to her. So I went. That's why I went in to go talk to her. And one of my other partners was sitting inside the cubicle with her. And so, as she sees me walking in, she's like, she calls my name. She's like, "Come here, I want to talk to you." So I was walking over there, and I was like, "Hey, what's going on? How you guys doing? How you doing? Blah blah. How's your day?" And she's like, "It's good." She goes, "Hey," she's like, "I got something to ask you." She's like, she lowered her voice, and she's like, "I have something to ask you." And I was like, "What?" And she says, "Did your old boss ask you to kill his wife?" And I'm like, "What? Like, what are you talking about?" And she's like, "Yeah, did that happen? Did that happen?" I said, "No, I don't even know what you're talking about." And she's like, well, so-and-so was in here today, which was the guy that told me. He was in here today and he was telling me that your guys' old boss asked, I told him to have you come to his office. He want to talk to you so you can do that. I said, man, you know how he is. Why would you even listen to that guy? He's fucking bullshitting you. He's messing around. I was just laughing, like he's playing with you. Like I don't even know what the hell he's talking about. And she's like, oh, okay. And my other partner's just sitting there like, yeah, he was in here telling us earlier because he was right there too, I guess. He was like, yeah, he came here and said that. I said, he's fucking lying, dude. I mean, come on. You already know how he is. He's a bullshitter. And they were like, oh, okay. Like, we thought he was serious. Like, nah, he's fucking with you guys. I don't know what he's even saying, why he's even saying this. It's not true. I don't know what he's talking about. So then we talked for a few more minutes because I didn't want to make it seem like, I get the fuck out of here now, dude. So we talked for a few minutes. And then I left, went home. The next day, in the evening, I went back to the office, to his office. And we went to his office and I said, I told him close the door because there was still people there. Close the door, so close the door. He said, what's going on? Well, at first he was like, hey, you know, everything's almost ready, you know, blah, blah, blah. So what's going on, you know? I said, nothing. Nothing's going on. Don't even talk about that shit no more. Don't say nothing to nobody. Don't do nothing. Don't get no money. Don't do anything at all. And he's like, why? What's going on? You changed your mind? I said, no. I said, you told the other fucking guy. He went and told the people at my job, in the office. He was over there running his mouth. People over there are asking me about it. And he's like, that son of a bitch. And I said, this is your fault. Why would you tell him? Why would you say that to him? Why wouldn't you just tell him that you wanted to talk to me and that would be it? You know, he wouldn't know nothing, but he's a big mouth and you know that. He used to work here. You know how he is. He went over there and started blabbing his mouth about the whole damn thing. So there's people in the office over there, and the company that I was working at also did business with his company. So they knew who he was. He would come in there periodically to give them a bill or whatever, you know. And so they knew who he was. I said, they're talking because you told him and he went and told them. He's over there blabbing his fucking mouth. I said, so you can't do nothing. I'm not doing shit. I said, if you try to go find somebody else to do that shit will be on the fucking news. This guy's got a big mouth. He already told these people what's going on. You're gonna get busted. So if I was you, I would just get rid of that whole idea. And you got the money, use that money in court to get whatever you can out of this whole divorce that you're going through, because you can't do it this way. It's not gonna happen. You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. You're gonna have to take a loss somewhere, but it shouldn't be your fucking freedom, and it sure the fucking ain't gonna be mine because you blabbed to this guy. I said, so just that's it. Leave it alone. And he's like, he was pissed, but he's like, yeah, you're right. You know, you're right. So that was that. You know, I ran into him periodically over the years. I seen him not too long ago, maybe about a year and a half ago. Ran into him. He's doing fine. He's still got his business. I mean, good thing he didn't follow through with that. You know, of course he probably took a loss, but he still has all kinds of shit. Because when I see him, he's always, you know, whenever I see him, he's always like, oh yeah, I just bought this, I got this, and he's always driving really nice cars. All his cars are always like the new models. You know, every couple of years you get a brand new car. So he's doing good. He's got his business and all that shit still. So, but yeah, that's the story of when my boss asked me to take out his wife because she was trying to take half his shit and he wasn't going for it.